Has this ever happened to you? Hi, I'm Irene, and my solution to that overly dramatized problem involves sewing. Sure, I haven't sewn in years, and I was never good at it to begin with, but a gal's gotta do what a gal's gotta do. I was inspired by Rickshaw Bagworks and their pen koozie, but since I don't want them to get mad at me, I'm calling mine a pen jacket. If you like this idea, check out the Rickshaw website where you can purchase high-quality, professionally made products that don't look like they were made by a drunk person. A link will be in the description. Using graph paper, I created my pattern, then cut the fabric pieces. There are 3 layers: the outer plaid pattern, the inner solid flannel, and lightweight polyester batting between them. I'd never used bias tape before, but I figured that would work for creating a finished edge. So the rest of this video will be unscripted me showing the end result, and also the bag system I use it with. It's all in the moment stuff. Enjoy. So I did a thing, and I want to show you. This is my journal bag. Well, it's an old bag that I've repurposed, but I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to explain. First of all, I want to show the results of my sewing project. And let me just get this out of the way. And so that was the project I had teased about earlier. This is a 3-pen jacket made out of fabric, stitched together on my Hello Kitty sewing machine. Now, that's a real sewing machine. It's not a toy. It was made by the brand Genome. They make sewing machines. So yeah, I've managed to stitch up some projects in the past, but I haven't used the sewing machine or any sewing machine for some years, so I was quite rusty. Yeah, I was scared to start this project, really, but I did it, and this is the result. Let me just show you here. See, it does hold 3 pens, and even I have my largest, currently it's my largest pen. It's the TWSBI VAC 700R, and that is in this slot here. So that holds that. And I have my Pilot Kakuno in the middle slot, and my Lamy Safari at the other end. Here, I'll show you a close-up. I'm not proud of the stitch work. Some people might call that charming. Other people might call that horrific. But I think the Frankenstein stitching adds character. Yeah, it turned out to be a mess. But, you know, I can stitch very basic things. And I think I kind of got messed up because of the curves here. But yeah. Why did I make this? When there are ready-made options out there to purchase, because I was trying to save money. Spending $30, $40 or more on a pen case is not in the budget. So that's why I thought, well, I can try to make my own. So this is the result. Now, it's not pretty, but it is functional. Just look beyond the crooked stitchery. And yes, this keeps the pens nicely separated and protected and prevents them from getting scratched up, I guess. I don't know how much pens get scratched up from knocking against each other, but that's why I wanted to get them out of this pencil case. Because they were knocking around together, and I would expect eventually they would get scuffed up. Since I was stitching anyway, I decided to make another sewing project, which is this. And you might be wondering, well, Irene, what is that? It's to hold my A6 size notebooks. So this was actually an even simpler design, since it didn't have any divided sections and no rounded corners. Let me show you. Yeah, see how that goes down. You can. Producer Mike has been getting some little notebooks here and there. And oh, I think this was actually, yeah, I was going to do it that way. Okay. This is a Midori MD notebook. It's so new, I haven't even taken the plastic wrap off of it. Oh, and this is, they call this a pencil board. It's just plastic. Has a ruler on the back side and then a grid on the front side. And on this side, I've got another A6 notebook, and this one is Apica's CD notebook. It's the premium version. What else is in here? This is a notebook that Sarah Bailey sent to me. It's handmade, and it has Tomoe River paper in here. And I do some ink swatches in there. And here is a, I believe they call this a pocket notebook. It's a little smaller than the A6, both in height and width, but just by a smidge. It's not fancy paper, but it takes fountain pen ink just fine. You can see that there's no feathering. And that was very inexpensive. Producer Mike actually got a pack of, I think it was 4 or 5 of these at a good deal, a good price. I'm not currently using all of these notebooks. Am I? Yes, I am. Well, let me show you what I've just started using these. Here was some ink testing. I designed it like this, side by side, because of the bag that I'm currently using as my journaling bag, I guess. And that's this old bag. I hadn't used this in years. And yeah, this is probably like a 20-year-old bag. And I think I had shoved it into a closet maybe 10 years ago, since I acquired a different bag to use that served me better at the time, at least. And I thought, you know what? I want to be able to tote my journals and notebooks and pens and stuff wherever I go throughout the house, so that I could take down notes, get my thoughts down wherever I happen to be throughout the day. I pulled this out of the closet, And there was a handle, and I thought, well, I don't need a handle on it, so I cut off the handle and disposed of it. Well, that turned out to be a hasty thing to do, not very bright on my part, but producer Mike did replace it with this leather clip-on handle. It was on clearance, so it was very inexpensive, so that was a good find. But what I'm going to do first is I'll show you how I have this, and that is these books here. And that's why I wanted to do the A6 notebook side by side so that they would fit this way. Because otherwise, you know, I'd have chunky books taking up more depth in the bag. And I didn't want that. I wanted to spread it along the entire width so that I can fit as much as I could. And I think that works. If I switch out to a different bag, this might not work, but I'll worry about that when the time comes. Oh, here's the other. This is the A5 size pencil board. At the moment, I'm actually, you know, I've just gotten these. I haven't found these all that useful because it's a white grid on a gray background. It doesn't really show up underneath the paper, so I'm not able to use that as guidelines. It is nice that there's a ruler on the back side. I like that. Sometimes it's nice to have something stiff like this thin sheet of plastic, but for the most part, I don't really need that. So if I'm missing anything, might be obvious, let me know. Maybe if you have something like this and how you use it. This is my sketchbook, my Pen Plus Gear sketchbook. I also have a Dollar Tree Jot notebook. And I do use my fountain pen in this. It's not the fanciest paper, but it gets the job done. And I find that fountain pens and inks, for the most part, work pretty well on this. I haven't had an issue with feathering or excessive bleed through. So, as you can see, I've been writing on both sides, front and back. And then, yeah, this is just a Dollar Tree spiral notebook. Now, there is also the Pen Plus Gear brand at Walmart. They also have notebooks with dot grid or graph, I think, or lined or whatever. But I find that those Pen Plus Gear notebooks work fine with fountain pens as well. So there are inexpensive options out there. The Pen Plus Gear notebooks, the Jot Dollar Tree notebooks, I've used them with fountain pens and inks and haven't had any major issues so far anyway. And then this one is my Clairefontaine A5. It's the basic notebook. This is the A5 size. I really like this one. As you can see, I've been writing a lot in there. So yeah, it's nice to be able to take this wherever I am in the house, whether it's upstairs or downstairs, if I'm watching TV or in the kitchen or at my desk or in the bedroom. I can pull out my notebook and put down my thoughts, write down some ideas, some notes, work on my voiceovers, and have everything there. The notebooks, the pens, and so forth. And I just got this one. This is the Ecoqua notebook from Fabriano. What was this? This is A5 size. I think it was $5. But I found it at Joann's, and I did not expect to find notebooks like this at Joann's. And I hadn't heard much about this product, but what little I heard was positive. And it seemed like people were saying that this is fountain pen friendly. And I have discovered that that is true because I did a test sheet here. See, my main deal is as long as it doesn't feather, I'm good with it. So as you can see, there is no feathering there. And to me, that's what makes a fountain pen friendly paper, because I cannot deal with excessive feathering. That it would be a deal breaker. So I like this. I like that it's a thinner notebook. I'm not a huge fan of really thick, chunky notebooks. They're a little bit intimidating, and they take up a lot of space that I think that you don't really need to have something that big. At least not for me. I don't need to have something that big. So that's my newest one there. I think I forgot to mention that I did not order these A6 size notebooks, but producer Mike thought they would come in handy. So I still need to figure out how I'm going to use these. I'm not used to using such a small format, but I am intrigued. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to use those and incorporate them into my fountain pen use. Now, the rest of this bag, I'll just show you. Here, there is a front zip pocket that I'm using for my phone. In this pocket, got a handy dandy blue shop towel. And I've just shoved some stickers in this pocket, just for funsies. On the side, there is a zippered pocket here. What have I got here? Oh, hand cream. And on the other side, I've fit a magnifier. There is no pocket on the back. And the bottom does have a flat gusset. Let me see if I can show you. It has a wide gusset there. And that's how I'm able to fit so many notebooks in here. Oh, I didn't show you this one. Yes, this is 7 inches, 10 inches, the Apica standard CD notebook. This is where I put my 3-pen jacket. And there you can see my, I have 2 beverages today. I have a cold soda and a cold coffee that was once hot. That's what I've been up to lately. Now, let's do the thumbnail. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. I've had this sewing project that I wanted to do. So, I mean, if you have basic sewing skills, you could probably do a much better job than I did. My own sewing skills are very rusty, and even when I was doing projects in the past, I was never complicated. I only did very basic stitching. But I'm pleased with how these turned out for the most part. I mean, this is not pretty, but it's functional, and that's what matters. Now, I still have to make one of these for producer Mike. He's got some fabric picked out. He wants one of these. And I'm hoping that one will be an improvement over this one, this first attempt. Thanks for watching. It was a fun project. I mean, yeah, I was scared to actually start the sewing part, but I sucked it up and powered through it. And this is what I have to show for it. Until next time, stay arts and craftsy, my friends.